Let me take a new notepad. I'll just give some name. What is the agenda for today's classes? I'll take the class for next 60 minutes. In the next 60 minutes, you are going to understand a complete introduction to Power BI, guys. Introduction to Power BI. You'll get the clear picture about Power BI. Introduction to Power BI. So in order to understand Power BI, first you will understand what you'll understand first is you'll understand what is Power BI. So first you'll understand what is data analysis. First I'll make you understand. In order to understand Power BI, first you need to understand about data analysis, guys. Which one you need to understand? If you understand data analysis, then you can understand Power BI better. Okay, that is the reason. First I'll talk about data analysis. Then I'll talk about what is Power BI. Once you understand data analysis, you will learn Power BI. What is Power BI? Once you learn Power BI, then you will learn how to perform data analysis using Power BI, using a software called what? Power BI. These are the 3 points you'll learn in today's class. Let's start one by one. First, let's start with what is data analysis. If I ask what is data analysis, different people will provide different definitions, guys. Many definitions are available for data analysis. A lot of people will give a lot of different definitions. Let me write one of that. So what is data analysis is, I can write like this. Data analysis is a process which converts, first I'll write the next one, guys, which converts business data into an actionable information, into actionable information. That is the definition for data analysis. Okay. So we are telling data analysis is one process. In general, what is the definition for process? Process means collection of steps. Process means what? Collection of steps. Anywhere when you said some process, the process will contain what? Some steps, right? How many steps you will have? Let's see. I'm just going to open data analysis. I said that data analysis is one process, right? That process have how many steps? Step 1 to step 5. How many steps are there? 5 steps. I can write data analysis is a 5-step process also. If you want to be even more specific, data analysis is a 5-step process. 5-step process. What that 5-step process will do? Converts business data into what? Actionable information. We will try to understand what are these 5 steps. You can read it. OLTP is the first step. ETL is the second step. OLAP is the third step. Creating reports is the 4th step. Sharing the reports to the client is the 5th step. These 5 steps, you call it as what? Data analysis, right? I'll make you understand every step in a detailed way. First, in order to understand Power BI, we need to know about these 5 steps in a detailed way. First, let's understand these 4 steps first. 5 steps first. Let me graphically show you. This is a plain image. Let me show one graphical image about data analysis. I'm just going to open another image here. This one. This complete one, I can call it as either data analysis or business intelligence. Both are same. Data analysis also call it as what? Business intelligence. Data analysis or business intelligence contains how many steps? 5 steps. What are the 5 steps means? First step OLTPs. Second step ETL. Third step OLAP. 4th step creating reports. 5th step sharing them with what? Clients. Okay, right? That data analysis 5 steps are there, right? First step OLTP. Second step ETL. Third step OLAP. 4th step create reports. 5th step share reports to whom? Clients. These are the 5 steps you will have in where? Data analysis, guys. Okay, these are the 5 steps available in data analysis. Before I make you understand these 5 steps, we'll come back and we'll understand these 5 steps. Before we understand, let me ask one question, guys. Okay, data analysis there. It contains 5 steps. That's fine. Now my question is, who will use data analysis? What is the question? Who will use the data analysis? We are writing data analysis, right? Who will use this? Who will use this data analysis? Each and every company will perform. Each and every company will perform data analysis. So you take any company. If there are 100 companies available in the market, 100 out of 100 companies will perform what? Data analysis. If you have 1,000 companies in the market, 1,000 out of 1,000 companies will perform what? Data analysis. I'm telling that each and every company will perform what? Data analysis. Why each and every company will perform data analysis is to take better business decisions. To take better business, in a company want to take a better decision, they want to do what? Data analysis. Okay, that's fine. You'll understand that. Let me elaborate this point. What is this? Take when there is any company. Take any company. Tell me few company names. Flipkart is one company. Amazon is one company. If you keep on writing the company names, I can write lot of company names. ICICI is one company. In the list, I'll add analytics benchmark. This training institute I'll add. If you keep on writing the company names, I might write lot of companies, thousands and lakhs of company names I can write. When there is any company, I said that company will do some business. You take any company, you name any company, what the company will do, I said? You name any company, that company will do what? Business. So Flipkart is doing what type of business? Okay, so you take Flipkart, they are into e-commerce business. What business? Amazon is also into what? E-commerce. ICICI is into what business? Banking business. Analytics benchmark is into what? Education or learning or training or anything, right? So you can call it it. So when any company is doing the business, from the business, they'll get some business data. When a company is doing the business, what they'll get? Business data they'll get. Tell me, when Flipkart is doing e-commerce business, what type of data they'll get from the e-commerce? They'll get orders data. What data? Orders data. Next one, returns data. Which one? Returns data. Then customers related data. Which one? Customers. Then what? Products related data. Then what? Sales related data, and so on. If you keep on writing, we can write lot of different data, guys, here. Okay. Next, Amazon also doing e-commerce business, they might get same type of data. Now you take ICICI. ICICI is doing banking business. When they do the banking business, they also get the data. Tell me what type of data they'll get. First, they'll get transactions data, day-to-day transactions. As you said, loans data, uh, uh, savings account data, credit card data, so mortgage data, a lot of data they'll get. So you take any company, when they do the business, business will produce a lot of business data. You take analytics benchmark now, this training institute. We are into education sector. We also get what? Business data. What is the business data we'll get? The most important business data is students data. Your data is important for us. Students data, staff data, courses related data, fees related data, placement related data, and so on, right? All this comes under business data for us. When you take any company, it will get a lot of business data. When a company is getting the business data, some companies will store that business data in the Excel files. Some companies will store the business data in the SQL Server database. Some companies will store the business data in the Oracle database. Some companies will store in different places also. Not only these three places, guys. I taken three examples. Companies can store the data in hundreds of places. Some companies will store in DB2. Some companies will store in MySQL, and so on, guys, and so on. Right, that point? When a company is doing the business, when they got the business data, that business data will be stored in some data source. Will stored in where? Some data source. That data source might be anything. Some companies will store in which data source? Excel. Some companies will store in which database? SQL Server. Some companies will store in where? Oracle. Some other place also. Once the business data is stored in the data source, what is the next step is, companies want to analyze the data. What they want to do? Analyze the data. See, any company, when the business data is stored in the data source, they want to analyze the data. Analyzing the data means they need to understand where we are performing good, where we are performing bad. Understanding where we are performing good and performing bad is nothing but what? Analyzing the data. Take an example. When Flipkart is selling 100 products, we need to understand out of 100 products, which products are selling good, which products are selling bad. That is nothing but analyzing the products data. So when you take ICICI Bank is operating in 1,000 branches. They want to analyze 1,000 branches. Which branches have more customers? Which branches have less customers? That is nothing but understanding where we are doing good and bad. Nothing but what? Analyzing the data, understanding the customers' data here. Like that, every company want to do what? Companies need to analyze the data to take better business decisions, guys. So every company, what they will do is companies need to analyze the data to take what? Better business decisions, guys. In order to take better business decisions, every company need to analyze the data. Okay, that's fine. Now let me give an example for this point, guys. Take an example, concentrate here. My ICICI Bank, you take ICICI Bank, currently they are operating in 1,000 branches. How many branches they have currently? Take an example, they have 1,000 branches. They are planning to close 10 branches. They are planning to close how many branches? 10 branches. When they want to close the 10 branches, will they randomly go and pick the 10 branches and close it or what? They want to take one decision. Which 10 branches to close? Will they randomly go and pick it or how they will pick? Huh? They will go and take the 1,000 branches data and they'll do what? Analyze the data. When they analyze the data, they'll understand what? Where they are doing good, where they are doing bad. They'll take the branches, 10 branches which are doing bad, and they'll go and close it. Yes or no? See, if they go and randomly pick the 10 branches without analyzing the data, if they close the 10 branches, they might do some mistake. They might be closing the branch which is really performing good. So we need to go and see out of 1,000 branches, which branches have less customers, less floating. That and all, they need to check it. And there, based on that, they want to close it. That's what here, analyzing the data. They want to take 1,000 branches data. Which branches are performing good or bad? Based on that, they'll take the decisions. That's what companies need to analyze the data to take what? Better decisions. Without analyzing the data, they cannot go and take better decisions. If they don't take better decisions, company will not run successfully. Right. So that is what each and every company will perform what? Data analysis to take better business. If a company need to analyze the data, they require something called reports, guys. Companies required reports to analyze the data. To what? Analyze the data. Any company which is planning to analyze the data, they require some reports. Let me show you how the reports will look like. I'm just going to show you how the reports will look like. I'm just going to log in and show you how the reports will look like. Don't think much. Here, I'll just show you some reports. How the reports will look like, I'll just show you. Okay, let's go and log in with user 48 then. Okay, once I logged in, I'll just show you some sample reports. I'm just going to show some sample reports, how the reports will look like. I'm just opening corporate spend report, customer profitability report, e-commerce sales report, employee hiring report. I'm just opening some reports, guys. Just you need to understand how the reports look like. This is one report, complete one. We call it as report, corporate spend sample. So we'll create this kind of reports, guys. We'll create this kind of reports. Now, when I go to the next page, this is another report. This is another report. Team scorecard, title for this report. This is another report. What is the name of this report you are seeing there? E-commerce sales report. This kind of reports are required to analyze the data. How these reports will help is, see here, in this visual, what you are showing? Subcategory wise, sum of profit, guys. Sum of profit. When you share this visual with your company people can understand where we are doing good and where we are doing bad using this visual, guys. Tell me, using this visual, which subcategories are generating more profits? Copiers is the one which is second highest profits. Phones, least profits. Tables. Tables is getting how much profits? Minus 18K. Profit number in minus is what? Loss. I noticed that suppliers bookcases have negative numbers, nothing but what? Losses. When I share this visual with my company people understand where we are doing good and where we are doing bad. Based on that, they can take some decisions. Based on that, they can take what? Decisions, guys. So now, when I share this with my company people or clients, my client decided to stop selling suppliers bookcases and tables. By looking at this visual, they decided, they take a decision to stop selling suppliers bookcases and tables. Why? They're getting losses. And one more decision my company taken here is they're planning to concentrate more on copiers business and phones business. Why? They're producing more profits. So this kind of decisions they want to take. In order to take this kind of decisions, they require this kind of reports, guys. So what I try to say, companies required what? Reports to what? Analyze the data. Once you analyze the data, based on that analysis, you will take what? Business decisions. Now, in order to create the reports, we need to perform one complete process called data analysis process. People will think that we'll go and create the report. Before you are creating the report, developer need to do a lot of background work. That what is background work you need to do is first you need to do ETL, then he need to create OLAP, then he need to create what? Report. Directly we don't create the reports. So this one we call it as data analysis, guys. In order to create the report, companies need to perform data analysis process. By performing data analysis process, we'll create the reports, guys. By performing any company, when it wants some reports, we need to perform data analysis process. By performing data analysis process, we will create reports. We'll create what? Reports. See, take when there is any company, you name any company. Every company, you take any company, they will perform what? Data analysis process. Every company will perform data analysis process in order to what? Reports. That data analysis process help the companies to create some reports. That reports will help what? Reports will help for what purpose? Reports will help us to analyze the data. That reports will tell us where we are doing good and bad. Once you analyze the data, that analysis will help in what? Decision making. Help in what? Decision making. This is the flow, guys. Each and every company perform data analysis and create the reports to analyze the data and to take better decisions, guys. This is what? Who will use the data analysis means each and every company will perform data analysis. Okay, we got some idea. Each and every company will perform data analysis. Now, we need to understand this data analysis. Data analysis contains how many steps now? 5 steps, right? Let's try to understand these 5 steps. Before I explain 5 steps, let me introduce a word called data analyst. So you join this course to become a data analyst. Now let's say, who is data analyst? Who is data analyst? Whom we call it as data analyst is the person who will perform this data analysis is a data analyst, guys. The person who do this ETL, who create this OLAP database, who create the reports, who share the reports to the client. That person name is what? Data analyst. The person who will perform, the person who performs data analysis is a data analyst. A person who do this all 5 steps is a what? Data analyst. Okay, that's fine. We'll come back there. You'll understand more. Now, let's try to understand these 5 steps in a detailed way. First, I'll make you understand about what? OLTP. What is OLTP? What is the full form for OLTP? Online transactional processing. OLTP full form is online transactional processing, right? What is this online transactional processing? Let's understand. In the software field, we'll have a different terminology. The place where companies stores business data we call as OLTP. We call as what? OLTP. Simple guys. Wherever companies are storing their business data, that is what? OLTP. Take an example. If my company is storing the business data in the SQL server, we can call the SQL server as OLTP. If my company is storing the business data in where? Oracle. We can call it as what? OLTP. Simple guys. Wherever our business data is stored, that we can call it as either data source. We can call it as what? Data source, or also call it as what? OLTP. Data source and OLTPs are the place where companies will store the business data. I said that here, when a company is getting the business data, that business data will be stored in where? Data source. The data source also call it as what? OLTP. That's what. Why you got this name OLTP means another name for business data is transactional data. Some people will call business data as what? Transactional data. That some people will call business data as transactional data. Okay. So wherever we store the business data or transaction data, we call it as OLTP. See, you go to Flipkart. In the Flipkart, you placed an order. In the Flipkart, when you placed an order, that order will generate what? When you place an order, order will get business data. Yes or no? Yes. When you place an order, you'll get who is the customer placed that order? What is the product he purchased? how much sales amount he paid. That customer name, product name, sales amount comes under what? Business data. So that order is also nothing but transaction. What is the another name for order? When you go to the Flipkart, when you place an order, order is nothing but a what? Transaction. The transaction will produce what? Business data or transaction data. Produce what? Business data. Also call it as what? Transaction. This is a transaction. What data you are going to get from there? It is a transaction data. The transaction data will be stored somewhere. Wherever we store the transaction data, we call it as online transactional processing, because it store what data? Transactional data. Name itself is telling. Wherever we store the transactional data, in short, we call it as OLTP. OLTP will store what? Transactional data. Every company will get transaction data or not? If you go to ICICI Bank, you deposit a money. That is a transaction. Withdraw the money. It's a transaction. The transaction will get lot of transaction data. Wherever that company will go and store the transaction data in some place. Wherever we store the transaction data, we call it as what? Online transactional processing. Okay. So every company will have one or multiple OLTPs to store their transaction data. Every company will have what? One or multiple OLTPs to store transaction data, guys. To store what? To store transactional data. To store the transaction data, each and every company will have either one or multiple OLTPs to store the transaction data. Meaning is, yes, you tell me why one or multiple. I'm telling some companies will have one, some companies have multiple. Why? You take an example, ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank will have different subjects data. Huh? What are the subjects data? They'll have savings account data, they'll have credit card data, they'll have loans data. They might not go and take all the data and store it in a single place. Instead of that, what they might do? They might go and store savings account data in one place, credit card data and loans data in another place. In this scenario, how many OLTPs they are storing? Two OLTPs. That's what companies might store their business data either in what? One or multiple OLTPs. So that OLTPs will have what? Business data. OLTPs will have what? Business data. This is the place where data analyst work will start, guys. Now let's understand. Company will provide one or multiple OLTPs to the data analyst. Companies will provide one or multiple OLTPs to data analyst. To whom? Data analyst, and ask to create reports, guys. Ask to create what? Reports. So who will provide this OLTPs to the data analyst? Company will provide, or data analyst will create them? Who will provide this OLTPs to the data analyst? Data analyst will create, or companies? Companies will provide. No. This OLTPs will be provided by the company. Once company provided OLTPs, they'll ask you to create what? Reports. Why they'll ask you to create the reports is to analyze the data, right? But important point is, it is never recommended to go and create the reports directly on OLTPs. There are many reasons we don't use OLTPs to create the reports. When you create the reports on top of OLTPs, you will find a lot of challenges, lot of drawbacks out there. So you'll understand. One by one we'll understand. So make a note. Important note is, okay, company provided OLTPs and they're expecting the reports, right? Now, what I'm telling is, note, it is never recommended to create reports. It is never recommended to create reports directly on OLTPs. Directly on OLTPs. There are many reasons. I can tell many reasons. One major reason is OLTPs contains raw data or unstructured data. The major reason why we don't create the reports is they'll contains raw data. Also call it as what? Unstructured data. Write that down. As OLTPs contains unstructured data, that is the reason we don't go and create the reports directly on OLTPs. There are other reasons we will discuss in the upcoming classes. So, okay, what is unstructured data? Within few minutes, I'll tell you. As OLTPs have unstructured data, we don't create reports directly on OLTPs. Then what data analysts need to do is, okay, now data analysts need to create a new database. Data analysts need to create a new database called OLAP, guys. Called which one? OLAP. For what purpose? to create reports. As OLTPs are not useful for creating the reports, we need one database. We need one database which is best suitable for creating the reports. The database is what here? OLAP. Who will create this OLAP? Company will provide this OLAP, or data analyst need to create? Means in our scenario, data analyst will create it. Okay, that's fine. You'll came to know. Okay, now as it's a brand new database, what is the full form for OLAP? Is OLAP stands for online analytical processing. Online analytical processing. It's a brand new database which is building from the scratch by the data analyst. OLTP will be provided by the company. OLAP will be designed by what? Data analyst. Now we need to move the data from OLTP database to OLAP database. It's a new database. We need to move the data. To move the data, we need to use some software called what? ETL. To move the data from OLTP to OLAP, to move data from OLTP to OLAP, we will use ETL software. We'll use what software? ETL software. To move the data from OLTP to OLAP, we will use some software called ETL software. What ETL stands for? Extract, transform, load. ETL stands for extract, transform, load. Okay, you'll get clarity about all this. Now I'm telling that we need to move the data from OLTP to OLAP. What data we need to move to OLAP is, you don't need to move all your business data to the OLAP. While moving the data to the OLAP, we need to move only data required for analysis. What is the meaning is, analysis means what you need to show in where? Reports. Take an example. In OLTP, I have 100 tables. But client is asking to create the reports and asking to show only 10 tables data. In the reports, how many tables data they want to see? 10 tables. Now, can I go and create reports on OLTP? Means no, you don't create. First, you need to bring the data what is required to create the reports to OLAP. That data we will use it for creating what? Reports. Now tell me, you want to move 100 tables or only 10 tables? Only 10 tables. Only 10 tables. What I need to use in the reports, that data we need to bring it to the OLAP. That is the reason we call it as what? Data required for analysis. So how you got the name online analytical processing is, OLAP will store only analytical data. What data? Whatever the data required for analysis, the data we call it as what? Analytical data. As it stores analytical data, they're calling it as online analytical processing, in short, OLAP. Right? Now, when it comes to OLAP, OLAP will have the data in the structured format. When it comes to OLAP, OLAP data will be in what format? Structured. OLTP, unstructured. OLAP, structured, right? How that OLAP is getting the data from where? OLTP only, right? You said OLTP is what? Unstructured. But you said OLAP is what? Structured. How this unstructured got converted to structured? ETL. Because if you directly load from OLTP to OLAP, then again unstructured only. As you load through ETL, ETL stands for what? Extract, transform, load. Here transform is there, right? This is the major work. Transform will convert unstructured to what? Structured. Unstructured to structured. Okay, guys. Extract the data, transform the data, and load the data. Once, okay, that OLAP is ready, that OLAP we will use it for creating what? Reports. So OLAP will have data only required for analysis, that too in which format? OLTP is not useful because it is what? Unstructured. Now, but when it comes to OLAP, it is structured. It is best suitable for creating the report. Let me give with small examples. What is unstructured data? What is structured data? What is ETL? Let me give a brief idea about it. If you go and open one PowerPoint here, I'll tell you what is unstructured and structured. Look at this and try to understand. Look at this and try to understand. This is how the data will be in the OLTP. Just take an example. This is how the data will be in the OLAP. From OLTP to OLAP, you will move the data using what? ETL, right? Generally, while entering, let's say in Flipkart, one customer will place the data, or thousands of customers will place the data. When thousands of customers are entering the data, they will enter in different formats. It's not mandatory. Every customer will enter their address in the same format. Some person will enter their country name as United States. Some other person enter the country name as US. Third person enter like U.S. USA. So each person is inputting the data here in a different format. We call this as unstructured. Different formats means what? Unstructured. But when it comes to OLAP, you convert all the different structures into the same format. You converted US to what? United States. You convert U.S. to what? United States. You convert USA to what? Where you convert it? ETL. You extract US, you transform US to United States, and you load that. So here you converted UK to what? ETL tools clean the data and it load into the same format. Now OLAP have what data? Structured. When you have the data in the same format, it is structured. Now go to the next slide and understand more about it. Now, and I go to the next slide. This is which table, OLTP or OLAP? OLTP. You are trying to create the visual on directly OLTP. In the visual, what you are showing now? Country-wise sales you are showing. When I share this visual with my client, my company people said this visual is wrong. Why this visual is wrong? This visual is telling that 7 country names are written here. 7 sales values are written here. So what is the meaning of this visual is? This visual is telling that you are doing the business in 7 different countries and 7 different sales values. I'm doing the business in 7 countries or 2 countries? Only 2 countries. So the right result you need to show is only 2 countries. So the problem is not with the visualization tool. The problem is with data. Problem is with what? Data. Whenever we are creating the visuals, we are not supposed to create on this kind of data. So you need to create on structured data. That is the reason we don't go and create the reports on OLTP. If you forcefully create the reports on OLTP, you'll get meaningful results in the visuals. You cannot, that visuals will not help in doing data analysis. Can I do any analysis here? Which country is doing more sales or less sales? Can I do it? No, you cannot do it. Go to the next slide. This is which one now? OLAP. You are creating the same visual. What you are showing? Country-wise sales. It is taking all the same names as one value and it is doing sum of sales. How much is the sum of sales? 1500. All the United Kingdom has one value and it is doing sum of sales. How much? 300. Is it showing country-wise sales now? When I share this visual with my client said this visual is correct. We are doing the business in 2 countries, United States and United Kingdom. United States is the where we have more sales. United Kingdom is the where we have less sales. They can perform some analysis here. That's what. Try to understand. OLTPs will contain unstructured data. If you try to go and create the reports, we don't get proper results here. First, you need to take that unstructured data to where? ETL. In ETL, you need to clean the data or transform the data. That clean data or transformed data we will store in a database called what? OLAP. That OLAP database we'll use it for what? Creating the reports. When you create the reports on OLAP, will you get the proper results here? Yes, sir. Okay. The information which you shown in the reports, we call that information as actionable information. What is the name of this information? Actionable information. Tell me, guys, what about the information you have in the report? I call it as actionable information. Why we call it as actionable information? This information we call it as actionable information. Why we call it as actionable information? Why we call it as actionable information is based on the information available here. Just a second, guys. Based on the information available here, my company will take actions. Based on the information available here, my companies will take what? Actions or what? Decisions. That is the reason we call it as what information? Actionable information, guys. That is the reason we call it as actionable information. So I said that when I share this visual with my company people taken 2 actions here. What are the 2 actions they taken? One action is what? Stop selling supplies, bookcases and what? Tables. Another action, concentrating more on into which business? Copiers and phones. When you share this kind of visuals with your company people, they'll take some actions or decisions. What is the another name for actions? Decisions. That is the reason we call the information as actionable. This complete process name is what? We call this complete process as data analysis. Which one? Data analysis. In this data analysis, you are going to convert what? Company's business data into actionable information. Company's business data into what? Actionable information. Company's business data into actionable information, guys. Okay. So who joined with Lenovo? Why you are requesting the access? Who joined with Lenovo? What is the reason you want access? Just a second, guys. Just give me a second. Fine. Let's continue. So what we are telling? So we understand what is data analysis. Data analysis will convert business data into what? Actionable information. To convert business data into actionable information, first we need to do what? ETL. Second, we need to create what? OLAP. Then third, we need to create what? Reports. Finally, we need to share the reports to whom? Clients. This 5 steps we call it as data analysis, guys. By this time, I hope you got an idea about what is data analysis. Now we will try to understand what is Power BI, guys. As we got some idea about data analysis, now we will try to understand about Power BI. We'll try to understand about what? Power BI. What is Power BI? So what is Power BI is, uh, who developed Power BI? First tell me, who developed Power BI is Microsoft. Microsoft is the company. Microsoft is the company who developed Power BI. Microsoft Power BI. Why Microsoft developed Power BI is Microsoft developed Power BI to do data analysis. To do what? Data analysis. To do these 5 steps. Simply to do these 5 steps, Microsoft developed a software, a wonderful software called what? Power BI. Okay, let's see. So now I'll tell you, Power BI is not the name of single software. Power BI is the name for collection of softwares. Power BI is the name for collection of softwares. Name for what? Collection of softwares. Multiple softwares available there. What are the different softwares available in Power BI? Let me write guys. What are the softwares available in Power BI? First software available in Power BI is what? So even before Power Query, writing before Power Query, the first software available in Power BI is Power BI Desktop. Which one? Power BI Desktop. Second software available in Power BI is Power BI Service. Power BI Service. Third software available in Power BI is Power BI Report Server. Power BI Report Server. Fourth software available in Power BI is Power BI Mobile. These are the 4 softwares available in Power BI. These 4 softwares we need to use and we need to perform what? Data analysis. We need to use and we need to perform data analysis. Out of the 4 softwares, major software is Power BI Desktop, guys. Okay, even though you have 4 softwares, Power BI Desktop is a development software in Power BI. It's a development software in Power BI. 80 to 90% of time, 80 to 90% of time will work in Power BI Desktop, guys. Will work in which software? Power BI Desktop only. Even 80 to 90, around 90% of time you'll work in desktop. Remaining 3 softwares are hardly work for what? 10%. These softwares are small softwares. This is the major software for Power BI developer. Okay. When it comes to Power BI Desktop, let me open, guys. When it comes to Power BI Desktop internally contains 3 more softwares. What are the 3 more softwares available? Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View. These 3 softwares available in where? Power BI Desktop. Write them. Power BI Desktop again contains how many softwares? 3. What are the 3 softwares? Write them. First one, Power Query. Second one, Power Pivot. Power Pivot, and last one, Power View. So we need to make use of all the softwares what I listed here, and we need to perform this data analysis. Yes or no? Now I'll tell you how to use these softwares and how to perform this data analysis. Tell me, guys, in this data analysis, who will provide OLTPs? I said company will provide you. What is the first step? Power BI. So when you learn Power BI, you'll become a Power BI data analyst. Understand, guys? If you learn Power BI for 2 months, you will learn Power BI, right? After you learn Power BI, you'll become a what? Power BI data analyst. So to the Power BI data analyst, who will provide the OLTPs? Is company will provide. What is the first step data analyst need to do? ETL. So generally in the OLTPs, you'll have unstructured data. You need to clean it. Where you'll clean the data is ETL. Data cleaning is the first step. So where we do ETL in Power BI, there are a lot of softwares in Power BI. You need to know which specific software here we'll use to do ETL. Which specific software? Power Query. Understand, Power Query is an ETL software here. Power Query is an ETL software in where? Power BI. If you look at this architecture slide, we can clearly understand Power Query is what software here? ETL. It will extract the data. It will transform the data. It will load the transformed data to Power Pivot case. Okay. Now, We understand OLTPs will be provided by the company. ETL will be performed in the Power Query. What is the next step? Power BI data analyst need to do? Create OLAP. So where we will create OLAP in Power BI is in which specific software means Power Pivot, guess. Which software? Power Pivot. Here you need to understand Power Pivot is a database. Is a what? Database, which is used to create which one? OLAP. So how SQL Server is one database? How Oracle is one database? Power Pivot is also what? Database. How you will store the business data in the SQL Server? How you will store the data in the Oracle? How the data will be stored in the form of tables here? Power Pivot also will store the data in the form of tables because it's a database. You extracted the tables. You transform the data in the tables. You load the tables to Power Pivot. The tables will use it to create what? OLAP. Okay, now we'll understand more about it. We understand ETL will be performed in Power Query. OLAP database will be created in Power Pivot. What is the next step? Creating reports. Where will create the reports? Power View. So Power View is a software which is used to create the reports. Next step is Power View is a software which is used to create which one? Reports. Once you create the reports, okay, in the Power View, I created the reports. That reports contains what? What that reports contains? Actionable information. Finally, you need to share with whom? Clients. Power BI Desktop cannot share the reports directly to the clients. Power BI Desktop don't have an option to share the reports to whom? Clients. To share the reports to the clients, either we need to publish it to where? Power BI service. Either we need to publish it to where? Power BI report server. From there, we need to share with whom? Clients. Right, that point? So last step is sharing the reports to the clients. To share the reports to the clients, Power BI Desktop cannot do that. Either I need to go to Power BI service, either I need to go to Power BI report server to share the reports to the clients. Now you need to get one question here. To do ETL, only Power Query. To create OLAP database, only Power Pivot. To create reports, only Power View. But to share the reports to the clients, you have what? Power BI service and Power BI report server. Why there are two softwares to do the same work? Why not only one? So no company will use both of them. A company will choose Power BI service. A company will choose Power BI report server. Any one only they'll choose. What is the difference is one is cloud. Second one is on-premise. Second one is what? On-premise. So Power BI service is cloud. So 99% of the companies, they will choose Power BI service. 1% of the companies, they'll choose Power BI report server. After developing the reports in the Power BI desktop, mostly they'll publish it to where? Service and share to whom? Clients. 99% of the companies, right? The differences. What is the difference I said is Power BI service is what? Azure cloud-based server, Azure cloud-based software, which is used to share reports to what? Which is used to share reports to the client. How much percentage companies are using this? 99%. What is the Power BI report server I said? On-premise software. It's an on-premise software which is used for what purpose? To share the reports to the clients. How much percentage of companies are using? Hardly 1%, guys. Hardly, even not 1%, less than 1% only. Okay. So what we understand is after we develop the report in the Power View, that report mostly will publish it to Power BI service. From there, we will share with whom? Clients. Once you share the report with the client can check that report in their laptop. Client can check that report from their desktop. Client can check that report in their mobile phones. If you want to check any information, where are the places you can check the information? Either from laptops, desktops, or mobile phones, right? Nowadays, where mostly people are checking the information? Mobile. So client also, whatever the reports you shared, they would like to see in the mobiles. In order to check in the mobiles, you require a mobile app. So what is the mobile app we have in Power BI? Power BI Mobile. When you go to Play Store or App Store, when you search with the name Power BI Mobile, you'll find a mobile app. Power BI Mobile. It's a mobile app. It's a what? Mobile app, which is used for what purpose? Which is used to view what? Reports in where? Mobiles or tabs or iPads. Right. Microsoft developed the mobile app for iOS. They developed the mobile app for Android. And they developed the mobile app for Windows also. When you go to Play Store or App Store, When you search with the Power BI mobile, you'll find a mobile app, guys. Who will install the mobile app? Developers or clients? Clients. So these are the different softwares available in Power BI. Tell me, guys, using the softwares, am I able to do this data analysis? Yes. Who will provide OLTP? Company. Where I do ETL? Power Query. Where I'll create OLAP? Power Pivot. Where I'll create reports? Power View. How I'll share the reports to the clients? Power BI service, by publishing to Power BI service. Where clients will consume mostly? In the mobile phones, right? Okay. Now, let me tell you the definition of Power BI now. Okay. If someone asks you what is Power BI, you need to tell Power BI is the name for collection of softwares. Power BI is the name for collection of softwares which are used for what purpose? Used to perform what? Which are used to perform data analysis, guys. Which are used to perform data analysis, which are used to perform. A Power BI is the name for collection of softwares. The collection of softwares are used to perform data analysis. This is all about now let me write a last point. In the simple terms, I'll write you in 2 lines. I'll tell you how to perform data analysis using what? Power BI. Data analysis contains how many steps totally? 5 steps. What is the first step? One or multiple OLTPs. Who will provide? Companies. What is the second step? ETL. Where I'll perform? In Power BI. Where you will do data analysis in Power BI. Using which software? Power Query. So what is the third step after ETL? Creating OLAP. Where? Power Pivot. Creating OLAP in Power Pivot. Next step? Create reports. Where? Power View. What is the next step? Share reports to clients. Where you will do? Power BI service. By publishing to Power BI service, you will share the reports to the clients. So this is the flow, guys. If someone asks you how to perform data analysis in Power BI, you can explain it. So you said that Power BI is the name for collection of softwares which are used to perform what? Data analysis. How you will do that? This small table will tell you. So by this time, we are done with the technical part of today's class. Let me talk about some general points. So these general points are important in order to learn Power BI. Okay, whatever I explained today about Power BI, you people will learn for 60 hours of time how to do all this practically. Before I go there, let me explain some general points which are most important to learn Power BI. So instead of typing those points, I'll copy paste that points and I'll explain from the previous demo video. I'll just go and copy those points and I'll explain, guys. Right, these are the general points which I'm planning to explain now. I'll just take hardly 5 minutes of time and will explain, guys. Okay, so try to understand. So when I'm going to start a new batch, first we will discuss when I'm going to start a new batch. Tomorrow itself, 20 August 2025, Wednesday, at what time? 7:30 a.m. to, so for next 2 months, your batch timings will be what? 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Every day 1 hour, more than 2 months. So coming 2 classes you can attend for free. Today you attended the demo free, right? 20 and 21st also you can attend the demos for free. These 2 are free classes. In the two more free classes, I'll start what? Practicals. Today we discussed only theory. Now in the next class, I'll show you how to install Power BI. Our Power BI developer work will start in Power BI desktop. Where our work will start? Power BI desktop. This data will be provided by what? Company. This is the place where I'll work start. Tomorrow I'll tell you how to install Power BI desktop software. How to install Power BI desktop. After installing, I'll open Power Query and I'll tell you how to do ETL. And then I'll tell you in Power Pivot how to create OLAP. And then I'll tell you in Power View how to create the reports. Then I'll tell you how to publish the report to Power BI service, how to share that report to who? Client. This complete process I'll discuss practically in another 2 classes, guys. That will not cost you anything. I request please join the 2 more free classes so that you will understand practically at a high level how Power BI software will work. You will learn in the next 2 free classes. Okay, now you are going to get one mail from us. What the mail will contain is, first thing the mail will contain is recorded session. What you will get in the mail? Recorded session. I recorded this video. I'll share this video. Second thing you are going to get in the mail is what? notes. Whatever I written in the last 1 hour in this notes, I'm going to attach this notes in the email, guys. Along with the note, you'll get what? Introduction class Word document. Every class you will get the Word documents, guys. You'll get the material in the form of Word document. Every class you will get one Word document. Today is introduction, right? This is the introduction Word document. I'll attach this introduction Word document in the mail. Just go through it once. So along with this, you will get what? Course content. In the mail, I'm going to attach the course content. This is the course content. I'm going to attach this Power BI course content in the mail. When you go to this course content have how many pages? 11 pages. How many hours I'll cover this course? 60 hours. In the 60 hours of time, what topics I am going to cover? I listed in this PDF. So you'll get the course content in the mail. I'll cover it for 60 hours, more than 2 months of time. Classes will be from where? Monday to Saturday. Sunday is holiday. It will take more than 2 months to complete the course. What I'm going to cover in 2 months, I listed in this PDF, guys. So I will not go and walk through the complete 11 pages, but let me tell you a high level breakdown. So I'll cover this course for 60 hours, right? Let me give a high level breakdown. So in Power BI, in the 60 hours, you will learn how to do what? Data analysis. How to do what? Data analysis. Data analysis contains how many steps? 5 steps. You need to learn how to do that 5 steps in the 60 hours. In the data analysis, first step is what? OLTP. Who will provide it? Companies. We don't need to spend any time here. They will be readily available. Second step is what? ETL. So where we will do ETL? Power Query. You will learn Power Query for how many hours? 13 hours. What you will learn there? How to do the ETL activities. And there you will use one language called mashup language. In short, M language. After doing ETL, what is the next step? Creating OLAP. Where you will create OLAP? Power Pivot. How many hours you will learn? 17 hours. What you will learn? Creating OLAP database. Where you will learn data modeling concepts, data warehousing concepts, and what? DAX language. So this data modeling concepts, data warehousing concepts, and DAX language are most important one for Power BI developer. DAX language alone will cover for 10 hours of time. Overall hours is what? 17 hours you will learn Power Pivot, how to design OLAP databases. After designing OLAP database, what is the next step? Create reports. Where? Power View. How many hours you will learn? 17 hours. What you will learn there? Creating the reports. Finally, after creating the reports, what you need to do? Share the report with the clients. Through which software? Power BI service. How many hours you will learn? 13 hours. What you will learn in 13 hours is you will learn Azure Cloud concepts, admin concepts, and what? Power BI project. So believe me, guys, in this course, you not only learn the topics in Power BI. Along with the topics in Power BI, you will learn what? Power BI project also. I'll complete the course in another few minutes. After I complete the course, I'll take the questions. I'll come back to the questions in few minutes. Okay, that's fine. Now, okay, that is what breakdown of this course, guys. What add-ons you will get from this course is, in this course, you'll get real-time projects. This kind of projects you will do. Believe me, guys, how you will do the projects in the companies, exactly pin to pin. Same way you will do the projects in classes also. So in this project, you will take the data from SQL Server. What is the project name? Retail AB project. What is the project name? Is Retail AB project. In this project, you are going to take the data from SQL Server. These are the tables you will take. You will do a lot of ETL as per the requirements. You'll create a OLAP database like this as per our requirements. And if you scroll down, a lot of requirements are there in this document. As per these requirements, you will generate the reports. This kind of projects you will do in this course. You will not only get the real-time projects, guys. So I want to tell one point, who can learn the Power BI course. Before I explain remaining points, let me tell you a point. Who can learn Power BI? Who can learn Power BI? Freshers can learn Power BI. If you complete the graduation in the year 2023 or 2024 or 2025, they will be considered as a fresher. So around 2 years back, if you complete your graduation or PG, they will treat you as what? They will treat you as a fresher, guys. They will treat you as a fresher. So freshers have a lot of opportunities on Power BI. Who else can learn? Along with the freshers, who else can learn Power BI means? People who have career gap. Take an example, you completed your graduation in 2020 year. Somehow you are not working anywhere from the last 5 years. So we consider you as what? Having a career gap or career break. So these people also can learn Power BI. So how these people will apply for the job is, these people will not get the job as a fresher. See, who done the graduation in the 24-25 will get the job as a fresher. But these people don't get the job as a fresher. They don't take them as fresher. They want to keep minimum 3 years of experience. How much experience? 3 years.
Last.
How these people can keep 3 years of experience is they'll go to the consultancy and they'll get the experience and they'll keep it. Right? So those people also can learn this Power BI. Okay. So I designed this course strictly for experienced people, guys. When you complete my 60 hours of training, you can keep 3 to 5 years of experience comfortably on Power BI. That much knowledge will gain it. So not only these people can learn Power BI. One is freshers, another one is career gap. What is the third type of people who can learn Power BI? Who want to do career transition? Might be some people are working in some other domain now, like QA or mainframe or some other outdated technologies you are working, you are planning to switch into the latest technologies. So then you want to switch into the BA. Yes, you are good to switch. Or you are working in the banking sector. You want to switch into data analysis. Or you are working in finance sector. You want to switch into IT. Or you are working in customer support. You want to switch into IT. Yes, all this kind of people can do the career transition easily. So even though, one example I'll tell you. Just imagine you are working on QA testing from the last 6 years. How many years? 6 years. Now you are not interested to go in QA side. You are interested in data analysis side. I'll tell you how to convert this experience to DA. What we will do is we'll tell last 3 years we are working on Power BI. Before that, another 3 years we'll work on QA testing. In such a way, we'll prepare the profile and we'll look for the data analyst job, Power BI data analyst job. Who are the people can learn Power BI? Freshers, career break, career transition. I'll talk to you one-on-one. I'll just collect some details from you. What is the year of passed out? From that time, what you are doing, and I'll tell you what is the best way to prepare the profile. Whether we need to go as fresher or whether we need to go as experienced, I'll tell you guys. So most of the people who join this course, my course especially, they want to keep 3 to 5 years of experience. I'll promise you, after you're done with my 60 hours of training for 2 months of time, you can comfortably keep 3 to 5 years of experience. And you can do the Power BI project by your own. After completing the course, when a company assign a Power BI project to you, you will be in the position to complete the project by your own. That much skills you will learn. So now what else you will learn? You will not only learn real-time projects, you will learn what? Power BI developer roles and responsibilities. These are the Power BI developer roles and responsibilities we'll have. Every roles and responsibility, these are the roles and responsibilities. Every roles and responsibility with practical real life scenarios we'll discuss, guys. Once after these roles and responsibilities, I'll help you in what? Preparing the resumes. As I said, I'll talk to you one-on-one. I'll collect the details. Based on that, will help you in preparing the resumes. And we'll provide what? Interview questions. And we'll discuss them. We'll conduct what? Mock interviews. These are the things you are going to get. Most importantly, every class recorded sessions you will get it. 60 hours classes, you will get it for your reference purpose. And we'll have a dedicated support team who will help you to clarify your questions, guys. When you are doing the practice, you stuck somewhere, then my support team will help you to clarify your question. If support team is not able to help you, you can reach out to me you can even reach out to me also. Okay, now I'll go with the questions. This is what you are going to get from the course. And now, what is the first question we'll get from the students is, any prerequisite to learn Power BI? Okay, you are willing to learn which software? Power BI. So here the question is, any prerequisite for it? I said that any prerequisite? No prerequisite. See, even you are from non-IT background, you don't have any prior computer knowledge, happily you can join my Power BI course. I'll make you in 2 months master in Power BI. So people will think that most of the people will come and ask, do you need to know Excel to learn Power BI? Strictly no, guys. Even when you don't know Excel, you can learn Power BI. So, okay, even intermediate person, when they join this course, they can learn Power BI, guys, because there is no prerequisites for this course. But one point here, you learn Power BI for 2 months. Okay, can I apply the job only with Power BI skill? Means when you apply the job with only Power BI skill, you don't get the job. To get the job on Power BI, one additional skill mandatory is what? SQL. Try to understand, to become a Power BI data analyst, Power BI data analyst jobs, 90% of jobs, they'll ask Power BI plus what? SQL. Some jobs they'll ask Power BI plus SQL Excel. Some jobs they'll ask Power BI plus SQL plus Python, Power BI plus SQL plus Power Apps, Power BI plus SQL plus ADF, Power BI plus SQL plus Tableau. This combination is less percentage. Major percentage, every Power BI job you see what? SQL. Must and should, you require SQL. One important point here, we are telling that without SQL, you don't get the job in Power BI. Let's try to understand something about SQL. But interestingly, SQL will not be used anywhere in Power BI. SQL will not use to extract the data. SQL will not use to do ETL. SQL will not use to create OLAP database. SQL will not use to create the reports. SQL will not use to publish the reports and share the reports with the clients. Without knowing the SQL, you can complete the Power BI work. So when you can complete the complete Power BI work without SQL, then why Power BI jobs they're asking SQL? Understand my question? Without writing a single SQL statement, you can complete the Power BI project. Yes, I don't write anything in the SQL in the Power BI project. I don't want. Without knowing the SQL also, I can complete the Power BI project. If you can complete the Power BI project without knowing the SQL, why in every Power BI job they're asking SQL? No. So the reason is most of the companies will store their business data in the databases. Most of the companies store the business data in where? Database. The database might be SQL Server database or Oracle database, any database. From the database, mostly you'll extract the data to Power Query, you do ETL, you'll create OLAP, you'll create the reports. How can you blindly tell your report is correct? You are moving the data from SQL Server to Power Query to Power Pivot, Power Pivot to Power View, and you are showing here. There is more chances you might mistake. You might do what? Mistakes. In any one of the software, if you do mistake, you might show wrong numbers. Can I share the wrong numbers to the clients? No. After creating the report, we need to cross check that numbers are correct or not. Right? How you cross check it? Databases can understand one language called what? SQL language. All the databases understand a common language called SQL. How English is common for us? For all the databases, what is the common language? SQL. So we need to write the SQL queries. That SQL queries will give the output. That output I need to compare with what? Report output. Then only your report is correct. Then you need to share the report to whom? Client. Strictly what you need to understand is SQL stands for what? Structured query language. That is the language which is commonly used in all the databases. In order to learn the SQL, we need to learn any one database. In our training institute, we are teaching what? SQL Server, where SQL concepts for how many hours? 40 hours of time. So strictly to become a Power BI developer, you need to learn Power BI for how many hours? 60 hours, where we will develop the report, which I'll teach it. Along with the Power BI, you need to learn what? SQL. To learn the SQL, we need to learn one database. We'll teach 40 hours where we'll test the reports. Who will teach it? Venkatesh sir will teach it. These are the two skills you will teach. You'll learn, guys. Power BI, SQL. Now, so I read this point. SQL is not used in where? Anywhere in the development phase of Power BI project. Without knowing the SQL also, Power BI developer can create the Power BI reports. So where SQL use? After developing the reports, Power BI developer need to test the reports. How you will test the reports? He'll go to the database, he'll write some SQL query, he'll get the output. That output he need to compare with what? Report output. To write the SQL queries, you need to have SQL knowledge. Okay, anyway, you'll learn in the coming classes. To develop the report, SQL not required. To test the report, what is required? SQL required. This is about, right. So if you have any questions, we'll go with the questions now. These are the front office team numbers, guys. I'm pasting the front office team numbers in the chart window. You please go through the chart window and you copy the front office team numbers. If you have any questions related to Power BI course and SQL course, they will tell you. So any technical questions I'll take. Any questions related to when SQL batch will start, Power BI batch will start, fees, all that you can talk to front office team. Now, let's go with some questions, guys. I request, please raise your hands who have the questions.